In this movie, we're going to look at two new string functions that we haven't looked at before and find a way of using these string functions to manipulate strings. And we're going to find a way of splitting a string right down the middle, or at any other point we choose. Let's take a look first of all at the strlen function. Now this function finds the length of a string that we specify. So let's take any sentence here. And if we use the strlen function, it just takes one parameter within the curved brackets, and that is the string that we wish to find the length of. We'll save that and go to our browser. As we can see, 36. So all strlen does is very simply find the number of characters in that sentence, the number of spaces, letters, numbers, whatever. Another very useful function in PHP, string function again, is the substr function. And what this does is it allows us to take a string and then create a new string by taking a small portion in a way that we specify of the old string and making a new string out of it. So, for instance, if we took a different sentence, and then we use the substr function, then we can split it up. The substr function takes three parameters, the first of which is a string that it's going to work on. The second is the point at which we're going to start looking for characters to make a new string. So let's say we start at 5, and the third parameter is optional. So let's see what happens if we just use the two parameters there, and we'll pop back here. As we can see, it starts with the word can, or more accurately, it starts with the letter C. If we go back here, we'll see that it's missed out THIS and that first space there. And the reason that it starts with C is that counting from the beginning, T is character 0, and we've got character 1 is H, we've got character I is character 2, and the S is character 3, that space will represent character 4. And then this C, as character 5, starts our substring, and it returns this. The third parameter that substr can take is a length, as in the number of characters that it's going to count from the starting character to until it's going to stop counting, and that'll be the string that it returns. So say if we just wanted to take 5 characters after character 5, we go back here and refresh, as we can see, CAN space B. 3 letters, a space, and a B. That makes 5 characters. So as we can see, the substr function is very useful for splitting up strings. It makes it very easy. Here's a practical application using both those functions that we've just learned, strlen and substr. And what we're going to do is we're going to find a way of dividing a sentence in half, in the middle, the exact center of the sentence. How are we going to do that? is, let's say we're just going to echo the two halves to the browser, and we're going to make sure that way that we've split it at the right place. So we can use substr along with our sentence variable, and then we can start at 0, because this is going to be the first half, so we need to start at the first character, which is called 0. And then we're going to go to the middle. Now, we used strlen earlier to find the length of the sentence. So to find the middle, we simply divide by 2. Then we're going to put in an HTML line break to split those two up. And then we're going to do another substr command. And this looks very similar to the last one, except that as the second parameter, we're going to take the middle of the sentence. And then we're not going to specify a third parameter, so it's going to go all the way to the end. Let's take a look at that in our browser. As we can see, that split our string right in half. It's my little mistake there. I didn't put in the B, so it doesn't make sense, but let's run that again. As we can see, this time it's split halfway through a word, because as it counts, it doesn't pay any attention to words or spaces. It just treats all characters exactly the same. So there we can see the way we can use these functions to deal with strings and produce new strings in a flexible way. In our next movie, we're going to look at ways to replace words and phrases and even single characters within strings.